couple of minutes ago, I mentioned the D word, the dirty word, the design word. And I work with companies all the time, and we take a step back and we talk about what are the problems with their installers, their old installers. And we actually just sit down and talk about what they've got today and where they need to go to. It's a bit like any kind of business transition, right? So we talk about what is the shape of the installer. Is it like an old house with a garage, with a conservatory added, with another extension? And that's fine for a while, but actually at some point you need to decide, are we going to redirect our efforts and perhaps pull a few things down and make some changes for the future? So you need to involve all your company's, different departments, product teams, marketing teams, support, end users even, and forums into your release strategy. It's our job, it's your job as the installation authors, as the vendors, to make this process easy. A simple installer is key to user adoption. Quite often people will blame their end users and say, oh, the end user made the wrong choice, what are they doing? Well, actually it was our fault for making that choice not clear to them. And so also strengthening your support mechanism around any software upgrade and rollout. And the various ways you'll do that will differ on your company. Replacing the old with the new, right? There are decades now of installations that used install script, which used to be the only choice, by the way, in the 90s and the early, before Windows Installer, before MSIX. Install script is massively widely used alongside JavaScript, alongside VBScript. But we're seeing these technologies transition out now. Certainly with things like Windows 11, where VBScript, for example, is not turned on in Windows 11 as default. Okay, so for enterprises, that may well be a problem in terms of their strategy. You need to review what needs to be migrated. There are many options out there. You don't necessarily need to do everything at once. You don't necessarily need to do everything at all. And having a bit of an idea about that would be very useful. And the things that are coming in, digital signing, cloud build, XML support, native MSI support is widening every month, right? It's growing and growing. Pushpa, any comments from your side as the product manager in Revenera about these kind of new options in terms of the technologies coming in? Any insight from your side?
Yeah. So, like you mentioned about, let me pick up on MSIX, right?
Mm,
Microsoft brought this in 2018, and we know that my MSIX, they are trying to give the Windows app packaging format, which will give the best of MSI, best of Apex, AppV. If you're still building on the older ones, you have to choose one of those. I think MSIX is giving better features among picked from all these types. And if you want to make use of differential feature rollout feature, or containerized packaging of the features, it's high time we move to MSIX. And Install Shield is already readily supporting you to build your products, package it using MSIX. So that's one thing. And uh, people know about MSIX already. Apart from that, we also have very important way of signing your digitally signing your product, right? You
yeah.
mentioned about digital signing here. We have support for various ways of digital signatures. Now is a time for people to move away from old form of certificate signing and come to new and secure digital signing mechanism. We know about it. We support HSM, we support cloud HSM, be it Azure Key Vault or even the AWS, wherever the cloud signing happens. We do support digital signing through Install Shield. And if your product is an air gapped environment, we can also support USB based token based signing
Ah,
for the product. So these are the few things I can say, which Install Shield is already readily supporting. And moving from the heritage installer way of doing things, you can already make the best use of these features.
yeah, and I'd agree. And actually, my experience of using Install Shield, for 25 years, is you guys are typically a couple of years ahead of what the market needs, right? You're very innovative in what you're supporting, and that makes sense because the audience today will be people making installers and software vendors. There'll be people responsibility for releasing software into enterprises, and those software vendors right now, they've got the job of making everything ready for Win 11 and beyond, for digital
Yeah.
signing, for cloud builds, for all that stuff. And that will then trickle right to the enterprises in the future, and they'll be enterprise and business ready. And the cloud building is fantastic. I speak to clients all the time about how much flexibility that gives them. That gives them autonomy in making builds. It lets them move the builds around their cloud-based infrastructure, which nowadays everyone's either in Azure or AWS and that kind of mix. So yeah, amazing.